Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner, to this post-race show of the Eifel Grand Prix won by Lewis Hamilton, who is now matching Michael Schumacher's record of 91 Formula One victory, and he's now one away from being the all-time record holder. Second place Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo taking the first podium for Renault since Malaysia 2011, their first podium since their comeback in 2015, and also meaning that Cyril Abitboul, team principal, will have to get a tattoo courtesy of Daniel Ricciardo. Few drivers getting a bit of bad luck also today, so it's now time to take a look at the highlights and who were the winners and losers of this Eifel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring in Germany. Before we start, I want to remind you to hit the like button and to subscribe to this channel. As usual, let's start with our winners for this weekend, starting with Racing Point. Great race for the team. It looked like it was going to be a tough weekend and they were going into the unknown, with Perez starting 9th and Hülkenberg replacing Stroll at the last minute and starting last with even less experience than the other drivers. Thanks to a few lucky retirements and safety cars, they were able to climb back up the pack, and Perez finishes 4th, only seconds away from the podium, and Hülkenberg getting a superb 8th place, just showing he deserves a seat in F1. If not for the safety car on lap 44, there's a good chance that Sergio Perez would have caught up to Daniel Ricciardo, who had older tires, and would have made it to the podium. With this result, they also get ahead of McLaren and take 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Great drive on a tough weekend, 9 out of 10 for Racing Point. Haas. They had a good quali, starting 14th and 16th. They stayed out of trouble during the race and took advantage of a safety car to gain some places in the standing. Grosjean ran in 7th place at the restart and managed to hold off Antonio Giovinazzi behind him to finally get a 9th place and a few very well-earned points for Haas, who's having another difficult season. This will bring a smile to their face, and once again they capitalize on opportunities. We will see them again in Portugal, 8 out of 10. Renault. They did it. Daniel Ricciardo get Renault's first podium since Malaysia 2011. Their first since their return in F1 in 2015, also over 2 years after Daniel Ricciardo's last podium, and also meaning that the team principal Cyril Abitboul will have to get a tattoo courtesy of the Aussie. They have been making steady progress for the last few races and they were really close to a podiums many times. They truly deserve it this time. As for Esteban Ocon, he was getting a strong race too until reliability became an issue and car failed him, retiring on lap 23. It's a 7.5 out of 10 for the French team. Mercedes. Also going into the unknown, Lewis Hamilton drove brilliantly to get victory and equal Michael Schumacher's record of 91 Formula One wins. On the other side of the garage, heartbreaking day for Valtteri Bottas, who had a strong start but had to retire on lap 13 due to engine issue on what could have been a second victory in a row for the Finn. But as a team, they look dominant again today and no one can beat them. 7.5 out of 10. Alfa Romeo. It will not be a race to remember and there is little to say about it, but they stayed out of trouble too and took advantage of every situation this weekend. Giovinazzi getting a strong quali and making it to Q2 and staying ahead of his teammates see him getting a nice 10th place and another championship point. Kimi starting a record-breaking 323rd Formula One race, hit George Russell on lap 15, damaging his car and compromising any chances he had to get point. Still, 10 and 12 is something they can be proud of, even finishing for Giovinazzi in front of Sebastian Vettel, 7 out of 10. Let's now take a look at those getting only a passing grade, starting with Ferrari. Another weekend similar to what we've seen the whole season, Leclerc good, Vettel struggling. Starting fourth, Leclerc did everything he could to hold his position, but it was clear from the start that he had not the speed to compete, creating a bottleneck of car behind him. That said, thanks to good driving skills and a bit of luck, manages to finish 7th and take another few precious points. Vettel, struggling again, getting a strong lockup on lap 11 and forcing him to take an early pit stop, finishes again out of the points and behind some Alfa Romeos, which seems to be pretty much the story of his season. He's probably eager to just get on with the last 6 races and change team. For Ferrari, it is a 6.5 out of 10. Red Bull. For a moment, it looked like they had the car to take the fight with Mercedes, even in quali on Saturday. Verstappen was staying really close to both silver arrows during the first part of the race. But after Bottas's retirement and Lewis taking the lead, they just began to slip away slowly, getting as far as 10 seconds behind the Mercedes before the safety car came out. Albon had another tough day at the office, getting a relatively poor start. He struggled even though he did manage to pull a few nice overtakes. At the end of the day, he retired on lap 25 for engine issues and goes home with no points. 6 out of 10 for Red Bull. McLaren. Surely better than Russia. McLaren still seems like they lost something over the last few races after a very strong season start. They had a strong start and until at least mid-race, it seems like they had a genuine chance for a podium. But reliability issues hit Lando Norris, who had to retire on lap 44, and Sainz, even though he gets a nice 5th place, finishes behind all their direct competitor, Renault and Racing Point. They need to turn the table around now if they wish to stay in the fight for 3rd, because at the moment they are starting to slowly slip behind. 6 out of 10 for McLaren. AlphaTauri. Neither car made it to Q3, so it seemed like it would be a very quiet day and maybe get points if they were lucky. And they were. Pierre Gasly once again driving really well and managing to get a 6th place. It will be super heartwarming for the team, finishing in front of Ferrari and closing a little bit the gap to this 6th place in the championship. Kvyat did not drive badly in his case, but just got really unlucky when his front wing got knocked off by Albon on lap 17 and he had to do a whole lap to get into the pit lane, losing a lot of time and making it mission impossible to gain back some ground. We cannot hold him accountable for a poor result here, so it's 6 out of 10 for AlphaTauri. And now to our losers for the weekend. Only one team, sadly, Williams. It was a chance to grasp for Williams with all the uncertainty surrounding this race. They had to do something and try to get a rabbit out of the hat. Things didn't go as planned as Russell got taken out by Kimi Raikkonen on lap 15 and Nicolas Latifi never found any real pace, finishing second to last in front of Daniel Kvyat, who just had even more trouble than him. Let's restart the counter and head to the next race. It's a 4 out of 10 for Williams. That's it everyone, thank you for watching. Remember to hit the like button and to subscribe to this channel. I will see you again for the Portuguese race in Portimao, where Formula 1 is going for the first time ever. Thank you and see you next time.